Let's face it, it's not always easy talking to our kids about sex. We want them to save it for marriage in spite of the sex-saturated world in which they live. Well, Healthy Visions is combating the anything goes philosophy, and they're taking their message straight to the students, using the direct approach. Stay with me to find out exactly what I mean. Healthy Visions is a week-long program for students in Cincinnati, Ohio that focuses on helping teenagers make better life decisions when it comes to dating, sex, and self-image. Russell Proctor, or RP as he likes to be called, has been a speaker for Healthy Visions for the past 3 years and has talked to over 13,000 high school students. He's blunt and honest with the students, and the life changes he's seen are nothing less than astounding.
Day one, we talk about healthy self-image. For females, learning not to believe the stereotype about what a female is supposed to look like, courtesy of the media. And for the guys, it's what it means to really be a man. And once again, not through what the media tells you, but how to protect people, take care of others, and respect others. Of course, a big one, we cover technology, Facebook, cell phones, texting, things like that. 2 days on sex, where we talk about first the physical side of sex, then the emotional side of sex. We do a whole day on dating relationships because, oh boy, healthy dating relationships is very important. And then we do a little segment about half a day on, all right, what's going to happen now, about taking everything we taught you and then applying it to your life and how you can start over and become the person you want to be.
What evidence have you seen to the erosion of young people as a result of living in a sex-saturated world?
The most obvious one, much younger age for people being sexually promiscuous and experimenting. I'm talking young, I'm talking early middle school. People are already starting to experiment with this.
Over the years, we've seen recently in the headlines discussions about bullying and suicide. Mm-hmm. Have you had any impact with kids in this area?
Oh yeah, that's a huge one, and primarily in the area of suicide. I actually talked to the kids some about how I used to struggle with that growing up. I would think about killing myself, and the message that I try to I'd say it literally every day, beat home to these kids is you are lovable. You are worth something, you matter. I just was looking through my surveys today and kids were saying, thanks for telling me I'm loved. Because if we're being very honest, a lot of these kids aren't told that very much. I don't think I've ever had a kid say, yeah, I'm not being bullied. I've never heard that. I've had almost every kid say, in fact, I'll have them raise their hands. How many of you in here have been put down in the last month? And every kid will raise their hand. How many of you have thought, maybe I'm not that pretty or I'm not good enough? Every kid will raise their hand. I just think every child is at risk, no matter how good the home life, no matter how good the circumstance, there's a risk out there for them.
How important do you think it is to have somebody closer to their age talk to them about issues like this?
Scale of 1 to 10, it's an 11. One of the things the kids always say is, it felt really good to have someone my age. Wow, you really understood it. You know, if I can make a joke and it sounds cool, it sounds hip, if somebody who's, let's say, 40, 45 makes the same joke, it sounds like they're trying to fit in and they're trying too hard. So by being close to them in age, but still older that I can have an outsider's perspective, an adult perspective, is kind of the perfect storm so that they'll listen and understand that I get them, but I have an adult perspective of wisdom that comes with it.
RP, what's been the response of the students to your presentations?
Yeah, that's a good question. Great response from the students. Sometimes tangible, sometimes just feedback in a survey. It's just cool that some kids inside they change. Sometimes it's their grades change. Sometimes it's people come to me after class and say, hey, I broke up with my bad boyfriend or bad girlfriend because of you. And you just go, yes, victory. And you just see these kids making positive changes and becoming the people they truly want to be, not someone they feel like they have to be.
When we return, we'll hear from educators and students who've had a chance to experience the Healthy Visions presentations. Chuck LaFada is the principal of Reading High School in Cincinnati. 4 years ago, Healthy Visions started doing presentations in Reading health classes, and student reaction has been overwhelmingly positive. Chuck, how did you find out about Healthy Visions?
Well, they started here, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years ago, presenting to our health classes. And the two health teachers, they thought it was really a cool presentation. And our students loved it, so they asked me if I'd sit in on some of the classes. So I did, and I came away very impressed. They're a great organization. They have a tremendous impact on our students that go through their program.
What were you impressed by?
The openness of their presentations and how they got down to the bare facts of sexual issues and relationship issues that students are having today. They spoke very bluntly to the kids, but the kids respected that, understood it, reacted positively to it, as do the parents. Teachers can deliver that same message, but when an outsider comes in who is younger and not too far removed from teenage years, when he says it and the way he says it, kids pay attention.
I got to see RP in action at Purcell Marian High School and witnessed firsthand the easy rapport and impact he has on students. I spoke with teacher Alex Kramer and freshman Milan Greenway and Jennifer Wren about the presentations they'd seen during the week. What's the one thing you'll remember most about RP's presentations?
Really his enthusiasm for the kids. I mean, he tells them every day, he loves on them every day, tells them that they're fantastic people, which is something that I think most people need to hear more, let alone teenagers growing up, dealing with all the pressures and all the things of high school. They're being told every day, this is someone who loves you, this is someone who cares about you.
Have the presentations impacted the way either of you will conduct your choices and lives in the future?
Yes, especially being in high school and you hear all the time like, oh yeah, I'm in love with my boyfriend, oh we're gonna go have sex, we're gonna do this, oh you haven't had sex yet. How people communicate to you, it's a lot of pressure. And when he talks to you, you let you know, like, I'm my own person, I can make my own decisions, and I don't need to listen to anyone that judges me negatively.
I want to practice chastity, and I want to just stay on that and not think about boys all through high school, get through my education. So,
what's the one takeaway that you think you'll always remember for the rest of your life?
I think that I am good enough. No matter what anybody says to me, no matter what I'm not doing that everyone else is not doing, that I'm always going to be good enough for somebody.
Landon Ackery, Katie Ackerman, and Christy Hudgel are high school students who've been impacted by healthy visions. Junior Landon Ackery lost his virginity in 8th grade to a girl he thought was the love of his life. The relationship became verbally abusive, and the start of his freshman year, Landon was left severely depressed, but everything turned around after meeting RP. So do you have a different viewpoint of how you approach dating now as a result of that?
Yes, I do. I didn't date anyone for 2 years. And then I started talking to someone. We aren't anymore, but I didn't let it go as far, and strangely, I didn't even struggle with that. I think the 2 years helped, and everything RP said helped. It's better this way. I like it.
I never really thought about sex and what it would, if it was going to come up in high school and everything. I mean, it was good for a while, and then something happened in 8th grade with a boy, and I was touched at school in a way that I did not want to be, and led to rumors that were just, more than I could handle. And I was just, I hated coming to school. It was just an awful feeling. But then just, I met RP, and everything just totally changed from there. He boosted my confidence so much. He said that girls are treasured, and that you should be selective, and that when we're in junior high and think that we love our boyfriends and girlfriends, it's not even close to what we're gonna experience. So we should wait for what it actually feels like.
After going through a traumatic breakup, senior Christy Hudgel was left feeling worthless. She struggled with her self-image while battling anxiety and eating disorders. Christy tried to put on a cheerful face, but when she met RP, he saw right through it.
I hurt myself, I cut myself, and I just screamed at myself all the time. And RP asked me this out of the blue question, how do you like living with a lisp? And I looked at him, I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, he saw right through all the things, and he, complimented me and told me that I was, beautiful and that it was awesome and I was unique, and I just felt like, wow, someone cares. From that, I blossomed, and it's been phenomenal since, and I'm in my senior year now, and I've never been like this happy, and it really has just changed my view on like relationships and how I choose, to like who I want to be with. It changed my view on who is my friend, and it's just been really nice to be able to like go home and be like, look at that girl in the mirror. She's done great work today.
Coming up, we'll hear powerful and emotional testimonies from 3 teenagers whose lives were dramatically changed by the Healthy Visions message. Delaney Galbraith, Kyle Hughes, and Emily Kozel were all in very dark emotional places before Healthy Visions. Their testimonies of how RP changed their lives led to a powerful and heart-rending interview. Kyle, what was life like for you before Healthy Visions?
A living hell on earth. Wow. I basically just had no thoughts other than just wanting to stay away from anyone I ever could, other than the constant thoughts of suicide or just wanting to sit in my basement all day with nothing to do. I had no care about doing anything. I had no want to be anything or anyone.
How did the Healthy Visions presentations impact your life?
It sort of told me how to open up to more ideas in the world, as well as trying to help show that there's more people other than just me that have suffered the same thing that I have, and also that there's people in the world that actually care about other people instead of just being completely selfish.
What's life like for you now, Kyle?
Well, I'm a lot more open, and I'm starting to become more optimistic and with life. I don't shoot people down always when they try and talk to me. I try and talk to them unless it seems like they're just not interested or something. I try not to get in the way of too many people, but I'm no longer as afraid to approach someone anymore.
Emily, you were the victim of bullying. What was your emotional state before you started attending the Healthy Visions presentations?
I was kind of like angry, not just at myself, but like at the world. And I mean, I was being pushed around. I would be bullied by what I wore or what I said or what I did. And it was really bad. At times, I did get suicidal. I did think that maybe committing suicide would be the way to go rather than staying here on Earth and having to be bullied.
I understand RP encouraged you regarding a friend of yours that was in the hospital?
Yes, my friend, she had tried to attempt suicide, and she was in the hospital for quite some time. And when I was talking to RP about it, I would say to him, well, what if that was me? You know, what am I gonna do? Like, how can I help her? And he gave me the ideas to just be there for her.
Did helping her help you?
Yes, actually it did. It made me realize that there's always going to be someone there who believes in you and who will help you get through any problems that you may have. And RP also gave me that, the knowledge that he believes in me even after just knowing me for a day. He was there and he believed in me.
Delaney Galbraith's story starts when she was a little girl. When only 6 years old, she was raped by a teenage neighbor. This continued for 2 years, and when Delaney tried to tell her mom, she didn't believe her. A few years later, Delaney's uncle molested her, and this time her mother knew she was telling the truth. This traumatic experiences, coupled with being bullied in elementary school, sent Delaney on a self-destructive path.
I had a little boyfriend, and one of the girls goes to me and she says, "How can you look like that and have a boyfriend?" And for the next 2 years, that's what I thought about every time that I wouldn't eat or I would make myself puke. And then after getting taller and skinnier and the boys started paying attention to me, then I went through a really bad, rough patch with partying and letting boys use me. Not long after I had gone to a party and I had gotten drunk, and I woke up the next morning not knowing what happened at all. Just knowing that there was a boy. Before, I had always thought, like, oh, next week will be different, you know, like, and then I would start doing something and I would start thinking, well, I've done it all the time, you know, I can do this because I was molested or I was raped. And RP just told me that my past doesn't define me and that I can change.
And did you change?
Yeah, I haven't drank since then, and I haven't dated a boy in 2 years, and I've gone 6 months next week without puking. So.
Do each of you attribute RP's talks as changing your life?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Where do you think you'd be without him?
If he didn't tell me that he believed in me or that I could change, personally, I don't even know if I would be here to this day.
I'd be buried in the grave next to my dad's. That's all I have to say for that.
Pretty well sums it up, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Delaney?
I don't think that I would have made it another year living like that, because even though I was putting off a happy exterior, I wasn't happy at all.
In a moment, we'll hear words of thanks for RP and Healthy Visions from the students whose lives have been so dramatically affected. The Healthy Visions team sees the positive influences they're having on high school students in Cincinnati. One of the great things RP does is to stay in touch with students after he leaves their school. It keeps lines of communication open and reminds the teens there's always at least one person who thinks they matter.
I have a Facebook where they can reach me at, but kids can write me questions, and that way, even though I'm gone, they can still see me and hear my messages every week.
They feel connected.
They feel very connected, and that's why I give these kids bracelets that say change your story, because even though I may be gone, I want the spirit of RP to be there to help them when they have to make that tough decision, to have that positive encouragement behind them, pushing them in the right direction. A couple years ago, I had to present to a very, very wealthy guy and tell him why I thought he should donate money to our company. And when I got done doing my whole presentation, talking about all the stuff we talked about, he kind of looked over everything and gave me like this smug look and just said, so all you're doing really is telling these kids they're loved? I was like, yeah, that's it. And he goes, I'm not giving money to that. And I just thought, you don't even understand how a simple phrase saying to a kid, you're loved, will dramatically change the course of their life. That's why I do what I do. You're loved, you're valuable, go change your story.
I'd like to give you all an opportunity to talk to RP on camera and tell him what you want him to know.
I want to thank him for changing my whole life. He has changed the way that I think about everything. He was the one person that, no matter what, he believed in me and he knew that I could change. He knew that I could be a better person and that life wouldn't be as hard.
There are absolutely no words that can describe how happy I am that he came into my life. He is actually like a father to me. Like the one father that I never had in my life. There's absolutely no words to describe how greatly blessed I feel that he came.
there was just no words. There's just, like, the first time after seeing him speak, and like then I was just a quiet girl sitting in the corner, and after the next year that he came to my school, I walked up to him and I said, RP, I hate you. And he kind of like laughed and looked confused, and I said, but I love you. And I started bawling, and I told him, I hate you because you woke me up, but I love you because you woke me up. He gave me the second chance that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
The idea that all kids are having sex before marriage just isn't true. And the concept that teens are incapable of avoiding sex is falling by the wayside, thanks to organizations like Healthy Visions. As you've been able to see for yourself, their message of abstinence is resonating with teens, helping them make healthy choices for now and their future. Thanks for watching. Every student who's experienced Healthy Visions receives a Change Your Story wristband to remind them they have the power to change their lives. And this week, it's my free gift to you as well. Simply visit our website at facinglife.tv to request one. While there, find out how you can get a copy of today's episode on DVD. These powerful stories are ones you'll want to share with others.
Don't float around like you don't matter, because the bottom line is this: you matter. You matter. You matter.